All right, everybody, welcome back in. This is another Stormgate cast, and this is starring AtomicLine in the Infernal, and my friend and number one fan. This is Matt. Hey, Matt, welcome back in. Welcome back to the cast. I always love that you submit some games to me and that you cheer me on in the Discord. Thanks for that. Anyways, this is another game from Matt. It's not a map from Matt. Oh my God. I can't speak this morning. This is on Edge of Oblivion. We aren't playing on one of Matt's famous maps, but we probably will, hopefully if I can get it working, have a new map from Matt very soon on my channel called, I believe it's called Magma Chamber. So hopefully we'll get a preview of that coming up in a cast maybe later this week. But this is a game submitted by Matt as potentially a fun one to watch. Haven't watched it yet, so you're watching it with me. We've got ourselves an Infernal versus a Vanguard, and this is on the Edge of Oblivion. It looked like both players opened Eco first. We still are waiting on our Vault and our Enclave here from the AtomicLine, which is one way to go. Shrine first. Let's look at our saturation. 11 and 2 here, while we got 4 over here. I'm starting to think about, do you transfer workers? Do you Maynard workers to your natural after you build it so that you get more efficient mining? Is that worth doing? I don't know. Scout comes in, sees, okay, you're macroing 2. Is the Scout going to go check the 3rd? Maybe Matt already has an inclination that that 3rd is up. For instance, if you see this effigy, let's see what Matt's vision was here. See, Matt's vision already sees the shroud over here. So I think that means that Matt didn't really need to scout and see that there's actually a shrine there to get pretty good information there and assume, hey, there is actually a base. Matt's also sent his puppy over to the wellspring to get them all healed back up. And is staying just on 2 base, up to 3 racks, it looks like. Plus, in the back, you got the BK Lounge working on the quick draw hustle. BK Lounge, the biokinetics lab. The BK Lounge, that's what my buddy Frank Sriracha calls it.
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will activate soon.
If you haven't checked out Frank, go check out Frank. He's got his own YouTube channel and Twitch channel. Real great content creator in the Stormgate community. And a buddy of mine. We've put on a few tournaments, and more to come from us for sure.
A Stormgate has appeared.
Alright, we've got our skirmish going on here while there was also skirmish in the base. There's a scout trying to kill some imps. It looks like Matt's ahead right now. Ooh, sending a few Lancers around to attack the Gaunts. I love that. While also just the micro of splitting his units so he's not microing one ball at once. This is something that needs to be done more in this game, I think. Also doing a great job of microing those Exos. Incredible job of microing the Exos. That was definitely a micro battle won by Matt. Coming out on top, and then able to soak in the wellspring for a minute before going back and finishing off the Stormgate. AtomicLine retreated back to heal up on his shroud. And a Faerun popped from the Stormgate. We're onto a 3rd base going up here for Matt. 3rd base is at 8 saturation here. 8 of 12. We're at 12 of 12 and 9 of 12 over here. And then 4th base now for AtomicLine. But we've got a little strike force coming in. It's fairly small, but no reaction from AtomicLine yet. Okay, now we have AtomicLine. He pulled his imps first. The imps, a couple imps go down at the beginning. Now we have charged brutes in. This is going to be hard for Matt. He's actually maneuvering himself back into a corner. But I think AtomicLine realized I don't want to get pulled way out of position. and actually ends up going too far back. He needs to be in a defensive position here to defend that weak shrine. The shrine is already at less than half. And if those Exos can get a few volleys on it, it's going to go down. And I do think Matt's trying to lure AtomicLine into a long kite battle here. That's why he's going into this back corner. And I don't know if you've studied this part of Edge of Oblivion, but he knew that he had this little escape route that will take him out the top. So this was just a long way around here to get him back out. And, you know, with good control, with quick draw hustle, his Exos are fairly protected from that slower army. The brute charge is the only thing that's really going to keep them in check. Until we get Reaper's Rush out. The Reaper's Rush is out. I think that's what we have on the way here. Once that's out, then the Gaunts can start to keep pace with the Exos a little better. And that Faerun's been kept alive. Although the Faerun's on the front line here, she could be focused. She does get its focus here. And she goes down. A few Lancers showing up. That's just testament to, you know, positioning. And also moving your army in one group, right? The brutes, for instance, here in the back. It's always good before a battle to kind of get your army into the right arrangement. Some of the push priority in the game will allow your units to push to the front, but that might be after, you know, you've lost a handful of Gaunts because they were out tanking at the beginning. Here we go. See, brutes in front. I like that. And, well, we're getting a little of a tug-of-war here. I think Matt wins this. Just because Exos can put down that damage pretty fast. There are a lot of Gaunts, though. And we actually see a couple of Hexen in the back. That means we might get some Necrotic Hex Fields out. Still really good microing the Quick Draw Hustle from Matt. There's some Necrotic Hex Fields. That's going to give AtomicLine the time to pull back the tug-of-war a bit. We still see that it's in Matt's favor on the Stormgate. And is there enough energy for another Necrotic Hex Field? That's what AtomicLine really needs to deal with these Exos. There's a Hex Field there. I don't really like the placement of that. And we're still just going for this very slowly as AtomicLine gaining over this Stormgate. And now Matt's pushed AtomicLine back, and he will pull the tug-of-war back. Not quite, yes, into his favor, just barely, before AtomicLine pulls it back. Now a couple more Hex Fields go down, forcing Matt to zone back, but he says, fine, I'm just going to go back to tug-of-war. And again, the DPS of the Exos. There's a nice Hex Field that's going to force them back. Another effigy out. A few Exos die there and a bunch of Phantoms pop out. In the end, the Stormgate ends up with no victor. I actually love that. We basically had both sides fighting over that Stormgate for the entire duration of the Stormgate. And in the end, no one wins. No one wins. Matt up by 30 supply after all that. Now, the crazy thing is, if I had been engaged in that battle, I would have been able to do nothing but micro it. And I feel like they've been out here macroing. Or perhaps both of these timings look like maybe that happened right after the Stormgate. Everyone said, oh gee, I better go macro a bit. Couple free Hellborn. You can love that if you're the Vanguard player. Another Hellborn making himself very, very vulnerable. Brutes finally coming in to defend. But, oh, wow. Trying to go for the surround there, AtomicLine. I don't know if that was the right idea, although Matt does not go back into the base. He pulls back out. Lots of Hex Fields there, zoning him away. Oh, no! That whole ball of units just ran right into the Hex Field. Another huge, really nice Hex Field there. System Shock trying to cure the curse off, but the curse gets immediately reapplied if you're standing in the Hex Field. Huge Hellborn ball now, so AtomicLine is putting down some threat with the Hellborn. Hellborn have great single target damage, but they do not have the splash they had in older patches. Hexfield's keeping used to zone Matt back, and the Hellborns here are going to be able to put down a ton of damage on these racks, which means these racks are probably going to go down. We have the Exos hanging out in on the other side of the trees there in the Wellspring. Nice micro from AtomicLine to pull that Hellborn back that was getting itself out of position. Now it's rejoined the army. It's strange seeing so many Phantoms actually. Since the changes to Fiends and Phantoms, you don't see that many, but the Hex Fields are producing them in larger numbers, so you're starting to see little waves of Phantoms there. It's kind of cool. Oh, didn't see here. There's a drop going on. Nice drop by Matt. Harassing workers, harassing gremlins, but taken out. And return to hangar for the evac. This Stormgate's over half done, but we saw earlier that the Exo DPS is pretty crazy and should be able to take this out. Yeah, stutter step forward a bit to make it easier. And AtomicLine's like, fine, I'm gonna go for your base because I can tell that you're at the Stormgate, and I can get in here and Hexfield on the servos. Those servos will be Phantoms in a second. And now there's just a wave, a sea of Phantoms. That's one place you still see a sea of Phantoms, is taking out servos. Or imps, or prisms. I still think you shouldn't be able to curse workers. That's just my 2 cents. Probably unpopular. People like watching workers die. And now we're fighting right on the main base. Matt's got, oh, Stormcaller. Excuse me, not paying attention, caster. Stormcaller, oh my goodness. Holy moly. That Stormcaller took out the entire army. We get a nice from AtomicLine here. Wow, devastating. Absolutely devastating there. That was crazy. I was literally about to call that. I was like, well, Matt, thanks for submitting a loss. I'm glad to see, you know, we don't, you know, a lot of people submit win. Maybe this is a win. I don't want to call it yet because that Stormcaller was mad crazy. We're still at equal supply. AtomicLine's not out of this. He lost his army. But he is playing Infernal, right? Like, his army's back. His army's re-emerged. We have a small little attack force here. Poor imps, trying to get away from those Vulcans.
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will activate soon.
This base is gonna go down. We have Vulcans dropped over here, so this base is gonna be denied. We have a base, oh, also gonna be lost. Didn't look like it was cancelled. Bombing run here. Shadow Flyers coming out to try and deal with the Helicarrier, and by that I mean Hurricane. The ground army of AtomicLine doesn't look like it can face up. Vulcans just charging in there with their jump jets. Hellborn doing their best to try and target down some of these units, but they're gonna go down. Look like Vulcans may have got, yeah, they got evac there so that they didn't go down. Ooh, that brave Vulcan, unfortunately, too brave. Jump jetted into a Hellborn only to find 5 other Hellborn there. And that's going to be a GG, well played, and respect from AtomicLine for that Stormcaller drop. So, yeah, great game and great submit. Thanks, Matt.